Welcome, people. I'm back. I usually say I'm back, but I've been gone for a long time. That's all you hear when I do a new video on it. But I'm actually back. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing and take this YouTube thing serious. And yeah, no, I'm back, and I'm with a special guest. Well, he's not. He is one of the special guests. He goes by the name of Happy Feet Harry. I call him that. I still keep calling him that. But Harry Scar, how you been, brother?
I'm very good, thank you. It's really good to see you again and to be on with you again. Looking forward to getting into it. I mean, talking Tottenham and being with you is good stuff. Really looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Perfect. All right, cool. Look, obviously, we know the window just closed, 25 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Approximately 25 minutes ago. The first question I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the window? Because obviously, we definitely needed winger. We didn't end up getting a winger. We ended up walking away from Lookman. The report said we wasn't looking to go for Lookman, so we don't have a winger. We've got the attacking midfielder. We've got the defensive midfielder. Are we gonna class? We've got the winger as well in Kudus. We can talk about the centre back. We've kind of got a centre back in. We haven't seen him yet, but we've got a centre back there. What's your overall thoughts? Go for it.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Thank you, TJ. And it's very mixed. I'm happy with what we've done in terms of players we've signed, if that makes sense. I'm happy with the recruitment and like getting the striker in today. And, I think we've ticked a lot of boxes. However, I think we should have done more. If I'm being totally honest with you, for a club that finished 17th last year, I'll just look at it, mate, and go that Son left over a month ago to go to the MLS, and we still haven't brought in a left winger to replace him, and that's criminal. You can't let the Son go if you're not going to replace him. So that for me isn't good enough. And also, like, you've got, I think for me, I don't think Ben Davies should be the backup left back going into a Champions League campaign and wanting to compete on all four fronts. So I think we probably need more centre back depth. So you're never going to fix all your problems in one window, but we should have done more is the point. However, the signings I'm happy with. We've got, as you said, Takai, we haven't seen anything of, so it's really hard to say about that. Tell as well, who we made permanent. I haven't seen enough from him, but we look at it and you go, Danso made permanent, but in particular, Kudus, Paulinho, Simmons and Mwani today, the striker on loan with the news of Solanke. So I think it's good, but always can be better.
I'm a bit like you as well. Like we definitely need an attacking midfield. I think we ticked the boxes. Like the way the window was going, I felt like disaster. No Eze, no Gibbs White. We kind of landed upwards in a way. Like we got the best of both worlds. Young, he fits the young quota that we're going with. 22 can improve. Not the final product, but we needed real quality. And I think now I look at it, Xavi Simons, for me, was a good signing. In fact, there's something I'm going to say. I differ in opinion to you. You made a video about, would you prefer Paqueta or Xavi Simons or something on the lines of this?
Yeah.
And I actually differ in opinion. I would prefer Paqueta. Premier League proven. He's proven on so many fronts of what type of quality player he is. I think he's a better, in terms of right now, a better player than Xavi Simons. I'm not discarding Xavi Simons. I think it's a positive that we've signed Xavi Simons. It's just Paqueta's felt like the player we definitely need, knows the Prem, knows how to work alongside a few players like Kudus. He's played with Kudus, I just felt like it was a match in both worlds. Again, the age was maybe the factor why you would obviously choose Xavi Simons. But I think Paqueta's a quality signing. I mean, obviously, that's my opinion, right? We all have our own opinions, and that's why I wanted to raise it. Obviously, I've never said it to you, so I wanted to raise that. That's where I think me and you differ. We haven't signed a left winger, and for me, that's really disappointing. There was two positions that we definitely needed. If I was going to say to end the window, was the left winger and the attacking midfielder position. Now, can Kolo Muani play in the winger position? He actually has proven that he has done it before, you know. But it's like we're leaving ourselves short. Again, it's always we're leaving ourselves short. And for me, this was a massive window to, in a way, not close a gap, but we definitely have so much holes in our style. As you saw over the weekend, I'm not saying we're going to be perfect. We can win. Look, the game is to win and to lose, but we definitely have so much holes. So I'm a bit disappointed we've not got the winger. If I was to be honest, and look, you can't get everything that you want. I'm going to rate this window a 7 out of 10, maybe going on to 8.
Yeah.
Not being too harsh, but not being too dramatic. Do you get where I'm coming from? I think 7 is a fair score to give it. What about you?
I totally agree. I think 7's fair. Yeah, we've done well, but should have done more. Like you said, left winger was a priority position. Let Songa, so long ago, it's really frustrating that we haven't addressed that. But at the same time, I didn't think we'd bring in a striker. I thought the club would just settle for Richarlison and Solanke. So that for me shows a little bit of ambition. So overall, I'm happy. I think it's one of the better windows we've had, to be honest with you. But I look at it and go, you probably missed your main target in left winger. But you're right, Muani can play there. I'd rather him play at the striker role. But yeah, we can play at left wing, can play at right, I think, as well. But another disappointing thing is, and it's asking for a lot and being greedy here, but we only got one number 10. But of course, Kulusevski's injury apparently has been delayed. Madison got injured, and Frank hinted he wanted 2 10s, and we've got 1. It's probably never going to be 2, but just another thing to add there. So I look at it and go, decent, well done, Spurs, but it's not getting to that next level. And if you have a chairman that stands there and goes, I want to win the Premier League and Champions League, you have to follow that up with action, not just words. And I don't think we're doing that. I think we're positive strides, but you've got to compare. And I hate doing it, but windows to Liverpool and Arsenal, who Levy wants to catch eventually, and levels above, I'm afraid.
We've in a way where this is probably one of our best windows that I've experienced personally. Like you're younger than me, but I'm still a young fan. So
yeah, sure.
In terms of this is one of the best windows I've actually experienced in terms of the players we've brought in. I just feel still we've fallen behind all of the teams that you so-called say that you want to win the title, you want to challenge in all fronts. We have so many competitions, and it goes back down to, look, again, this is a different topic, but you decided to sack Ange, right? Whether it's rightly so, whether it's wrongly so. Obviously, we haven't spoke about Ange before, but I was in the camp of, you'd be surprised, my friend, I wanted to keep Ange. I was in the camp of keeping Ange, giving him time. Maybe he could better. That's not me saying that Frank is not a good enough manager for Tottenham. I just felt like he won us a major honor, and we've desperately needed it. But that's a different topic. This is about the window. But why I mention Ange, you decide to sack Ange, right? And say you want to win a title, and say you want to do all of this type of stuff, but the quality is a few of these. As much as I don't want to be harsh on a lot of people, and the way Tell has been slandered as well. I don't want to get too much onto him, but you signed Tell for merely £35 million. It's such a, in terms of waste of money, where that money could go to someone better. What was the excuse of not signing Savinho?
Exactly. No, you're right. I agree.
If Man City, for me, this is it. If Man City wanted 70, 80 million, and you wasn't willing to go to 70, 80 million, you're not gonna buy the product. If you go to a supermarket and it costs $5.99 and you have only £4, the only other way to get that item is to steal it, potentially, because you go to the front desk and you give them £4 and it's $5.99, they're gonna be like, you're short of change. You're gonna have to buy something else. So really and truly, when you look at it, you have to pay for what you want. And in this circumstance, we've fallen short again. And I don't want to seem negative because, again, it's a positive window in a way where under Pochettino, it was 2 seasons, how many months? 18 months without a single signing?
Yeah, I think so. I
Or
think that's right.
less? Or is it less? Probably less.
Let's say 18 months. It was a long time.
Let's just say. So it
At
is a
least
positive.
12, yeah.
It is a positive. It is a positive that we've signed 4 people, like four players that should ideally improve our squad. Obviously, I don't know, man. I don't see why we brought him in. What's your take on Tell? Am I being hard there?
No, you're not. I don't like what I've seen so far. However, I would say that some of the abuse he's got, like for that penalty missed, is just totally wrong. So there is that other side to it. But I think, why did we sign him? I'm someone who went, I admit here that we take the risk, do be bold. And I said, why not go for him? But I look at it now and I don't know whether that was the right option, to be honest with you, TJ. And I mean, a little bit more positive at the weekend against Bournemouth, that unexpected shot, but it just seems like a player.
I'm sorry, my phone keeps falling over.
You're good. Love it.
Yeah, carry on. Yeah,
that's right. He's like a player without any confidence, and that's the problem with that quality. And what you've got to remember is Bayern Munich seemed very, very keen and quick to get rid of him, and that did concern me. I said I'd probably take a punt on Tell, but that at the time it was going to be as expensive as it was. So if I'd known it had been, what was it? I can't remember what wasn't it? Was it, let's say 40 million? I can't remember, 30, 40 million. I think
it was 35. It was 5 million in what is it called, loan fee, and then obviously 30 million in getting the guy. So altogether 35 million.
Right, okay. Then we got that reduced. So, and it was all guessing game what that price would be. So now I kind of regret what I said about that at the time. And I think he hasn't offered a lot. Look at Alderweireld as well. I want to see a lot more from him. We need someone to take that left position.
100%. My problem with Tell, and see, this is the way I view football. Again, it's different from a lot of people, but I don't follow XG and all of this type of stuff. I'm more of an eye test merchant. So when you look at our previous players, either our bad players or our worst players, you can actually name qualities in their game. Like, example, we all know Werner wasn't a good Tottenham player, right? But if I was to present you, what is Werner's quality? What's one attribute that Werner had? We both will agree that he was good at running, right? His main attribute that he relied on was his pace, his dribbling, and his running at defenders. Whether he was successful at it or not, but that's what he relied on, You go even further. Bergwijn, it's his close control. Lamela, it's his flair. You got so many failed footballers. Emerson Royal, as much as I hate the guy, and you're going to bring this up, the reason why I bring up Emerson Royal, do you remember playing in the middle? Yeah. But Emerson Royal, in terms of you can tell there's different attributes in these players, they're not like zero brain dead, right? I'm not calling Tell brain dead. I'm far from that. Please don't think I'm being harsh on Tell. But when you look at Tell's game and you actually look at his structure of his actual play style, what does he actually offer in terms of running forward and backwards? Because for me, he's not good at dribbling at a defender. He's not good at shooting. He can improve. Again, I don't want to be harsh. I believe he can improve. You might disagree.
No, I don't. I completely agree.
He doesn't really offer much in terms of football standards. And see, this is my point. When you're playing for Tottenham, the badge in the front means more than the badge at the back. There has to be some form of standard at Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
And he just doesn't meet it, in my opinion. Maybe I'm judging too soon. He's young. That plays a part in it. But even when you look at the youngsters, you look at Mikey Moore, Lancashire, you're even looking at Dane Scarlett. They all have some sort of ability, or like their game is not finalized, but you can see, oh, Mikey Moore's good at this. He could be a real talent at that.
No, you're
When you
right.
look at Tell, you can't see nothing in terms of fundamental, in terms like, okay, this is the reason why Tottenham's brought him.
Good point. Very, very good point.
It's a business. Remember, this football is a business. So you don't just look to buy for you to like keep. You look to buy to sell. Right now, Kel is depreciating in value. We've bought him in for 35 million. If he carries on the form, he's not going to be worth 20 million. We struggle with selling players. Look,
we really do.
Look at this window.
Yeah.
Look at this window. For example, we struggle to let go of players. And this looks like, and I don't want to be all doom and gloom. Hell, for example, and please don't think I'm being harsh. People that watch this might think I'm being harsh. I'm not. I'm just seeing it and saying it how I see it, because if I don't say it, nobody else is going to say it, or people have said it, and they said it in such a terrible way, you know? If he carries on this form of the way he's playing, we will be in a worse state, you know? Because for me, we need to at least see some sort of quality. And we failed again, because we're going to be going into the season with Odegaard, Johnson, and Tell. Either or either. I think out of all three, Johnson's the proven scorer, but he offers not much on the pitch.
Apart from the goals, yeah.
Proven scorer, but he offers not much going forward wise. Unless I'm wrong.
No, I do agree with you, but there is, and I'm not being necessarily blind here, but as you will know, goals do win you football matches, assist you, win you football matches. As frustrating as it is, and I get people's point with Johnson, but if he's going to be our top scorer or scorer's goals, I don't mind too much. I'm not saying that it's necessarily acceptable, but I think he gets a lot of hate for the amount he scores. And like, look at last season where we struggled, right? We can both admit in the league, for example, really poo. But where would we have been without his goals? Without Europe as well, where we have been. And that's the thing. And okay, it can be a tap in here, there, and everywhere, but it doesn't matter as long as the ball goes in the net. That's the way I view it. As much as I do agree with you that he needs to improve his all-round performance, like, he doesn't take on people 1v1, does he? That's a real concern I have in mind. Simmons will change that. Kudus has changed that.
I agree with you. The only thing I will add to what you're saying is when you have a manager that is developing players, and he's not really offering much in Frank's system. Again, maybe we're judging too soon again, right? It's only been, 4 games? Okay, if we're going to count the preseason games, maybe 10, maybe 7 or 8, right? But in them 7 or 8 games, where was a 10 out of 10 performance?
Yeah.
You have to judge it like that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Because when I only see, this is how I view football. Again, I'm unique in that I don't look at stats. Stats is a lie. Because when you start saying that Johnson scores quite a lot, it's true. He does. He scored in the Carabao Cup final that we ended up winning. Carabao Cup, what am I talking about? Europa League final.
Yeah, that's
what I meant. Yeah. He scored in the Europa League final. Without his goal, we would probably be 0-0, right? Or maybe we might have scored a different way. But I do see some value to him. But look, I see value in Johnson. What value does Tell offer?
It's a genuine question. It's a conversation at the moment, and where can he fit in? is the question, especially with Sam Moana, you can play left wing, and they've got Johnson and now can play there, and saying Simmons as a 10. Where does Tell fit in? Can you see it? I can't. I want it to work for him. I think you get better, but I just can't see him starting too many games.
I think his fundamentals are really low in terms of because like I said, I'm only coming from this approach because I have a brother my younger brother, you know this, he plays for Watford Academy, right? He's been doing quite well in the youth setup, and he's doing, in fact, extremely well, close to the first team. But the fundamentals of improving and proving, you have to learn new things, right? And I think Tell's fundamentals is really low right now. It's either this. The German league is easier to perform in. The Premier League is too hard for him. Or his quality, he might need to go on a loan. Maybe that's something that we. But if you're now sending another player on a loan, it still don't solve our situation with the winger. We should have had a winger. We should, the two important positions with the attacking midfielder and a winger. I understand this Kolo Muani thing, right? Because Solanke's now injured until who knows, right? It looks like a serious injury. But that winger was vital, man. The winger was so vital. We've left ourselves really short again.
We have. Yeah, 100%. Got nothing to add to that, really. I think it's spot on. It's a shame.
Now, I don't want to keep you too long. We've gone 21 minutes, innit? The last thing I want to go on to. Where do you see us finishing with the current squad that if you was to put your balls on the line, or just say it like, do you see us finishing higher than 7?
Yes, but I think the club have taken this position, haven't they? They want us to compete on all 4 fronts, and I think they have a little bit of an unrealistic view. We've done well, and we're getting better. We're getting closer, I'm sure, but I don't know. I know he's joking. When he says win the Premier League and Champions League, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't expect it this season." He's like making subtle jokes that you kind of like, "Oh, Frank, if you can win the Premier League or Champions League in your first season, great." It's just not going to happen. When we're talking about getting in the top 6 here, I just think they're a little bit blinded by. I think this squad is good. The 11 players, should I say, is good. The A team, as I call it. But if we get a couple of injuries, like TJ, if I said to you that, I don't know, Xavi Simmons got injured, Jed Spence got injured, and Van der Ven got injured. Just 3 players. That's it. Not a lot.
We're back to square one. We're back to square one. And now this is a question. This is really key. This is why I wanted to ask you this. We're back to square one, the same way Ange was back to square one. Do you see this squad winning another cup? Because Ange had to sacrifice the league in order to win a cup. That's the true reality. The reality is he had so much injuries. He said, screw the league. Let's focus on a cup competition. Do you see Frank doing the same?
No, because he wouldn't be allowed to. That's
exactly.
I think he'd want to, maybe deep down, and he's been sold this dream of competing all 4 fronts, but we cannot do that with the squad we have. I don't think he's been given the tools, so I don't want to be negative or anything like that. I think, TJ, if we solely focused on the league, shut out everything else, let's say we weren't in Europe, I think we get 3rd, 4th, let's say 4th. I think we can get top 4, to be honest with you, with a big push and a sole focus on the league. But when you bear in mind...
There's no injuries, maybe, I can agree with you.
But what I mean is that there's no Europe. Completely hypothetical, it's not going to happen. But with Champions League as well, and if we want to do well, which every team does in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, I think it's a case of like Champions League, you get out the league phase, you get to, I don't know, knockout, round of 16, round of 32, let's say. And in the league, you get 6th. In the League Cup, you get to the semi-final, and the FA Cup quarter-final. It's going to be a bit like that. I don't know about you, but I'd rather just go for one and win it. But that's just how I view it. The club, I know, view it differently. That's why with Ange, people forget. I think we could compete on more than one front under Ange, because we got to the Carabao Cup semi-final as well as winning the Europa League.
See, this is the first time I've agreed with you in a long time. I'm not going to lie to you. No. Listen, you should have come on Haz's show. I was the only one saying, like, we shouldn't have sacked Ange. I was firm on this. We shouldn't have sacked Ange. We started a journey with Ange. Now we have to rebuild. Yeah. And look, again, now the topic is past Ange. We've now got a different manager. We have to close the Ange book and just move forward, right? reality, you know. That's the past, this is the present. But it's going to be difficult. We've been left short again. And the only people to blame is the ownership, to be honest with you. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm going into the owners, because that's not what this video is for, but we have left it short. We have. Because you've got the teams like, look at Liverpool. Did they end up, I wasn't really following Liverpool's transfer window, but have they signed Isaac?
Say again?
Have they signed Isaac? Has Liverpool signed Isaac?
Yeah, they signed Isaac. I don't think the Gahey deal went through. It was meant to, but Palace couldn't find a replacement. So I think that fell through right at the very end.
Okay.
I think.
Well,
no really
they've just signed Isaac. So look, and
30 million.
And then look at Arsenal. Their window was phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Them too.
You know, they covered every aspect. You got Chelsea as well. Look at Chelsea's window. Yeah, we might have stolen Xavi Simons, but they wasn't really too fussed about it.
No, exactly. Oh, there you go. Fabrizio Romano just said 4 minutes ago, Mark Gahey to Liverpool deal collapsed despite medical done and deal sheet submitted. Palace don't approve the move following them not being able to find a replacement. He stays at Crystal Palace.
No way.
Wow.
Well, maybe Liverpool can get him in January.
Well, yeah. They probably get him for free next year. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, free, but that's crazy. Imagine a free.
It is bad on Palace's point of view, but they're going to let him go for £35 million. I think they're better to let him leave for free. He's worth a lot more than that. So it's weird.
Why didn't look? We needed it. We needed a defender in terms of like we've been. Why didn't look? See, this is why I don't think Levy really looks at the scenario.
No, he doesn't.
If Liverpool is going to submit £35 million, what is the harm in submitting £50 million or £40 million? Apparently, we have the money.
Exactly.
That's how you get better.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
We don't move like a big club. That's the problem.
Yeah, we don't.
We've been saying this every single year.
I totally agree with you. Frustrating.
Look. I wanted to keep it a short video because obviously you've been streaming for a very long time. Any last thoughts or little things that you want to say about the window?
No, I don't think so. Apart from give the new signings time and be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we'll talk about Frank and get behind the team this year. There's going to be blips in the road like Bournemouth. I thought the performance was really bad. Hopefully, we bounce back after the international break. So I think there's a much needed reality check. Unfortunately, so no, stay patient, keep the faith. And hopefully we can be in for a good season in a busy January window. Hopefully,
come on, you Spurs. That's basically how it goes, right?
Play up the Spurs.
Here we go again. Come on, you Spurs. All right, cool. Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a very long time. What I'll do after the video goes up, I will tag your name into the channel. I have to do it on YouTube.
Is it live or pre-recorded? Live.
It's live. It's live. So I can go into YouTube. What do you call it? YouTube Studio, and just at your channel. So it's a link. So people can click on it.
Live now. So
Yeah. No. I know. I haven't ended it yet. So that's why. That's why I'm actually saying it. Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And come on, you Spurs.
Up the Spurs.
Yeah.